Games. Looked a little bit shy of the board there, and it's not as far as Pullman's jump, I don't think. It's over 7 metres. You can see the 7 metre mark there. Good use of the arms, a little bit shy of the board. Then that's a hitch kick technique as opposed to Pullman's hang. 7.31, and he's in second place overall. But places don't matter. It's about distances and how they relate to point score. Well, the Olympic champion is a jumper. He's a good jumper, particularly in the high jump arena, but now he's got, incidentally, a best this season, wind assisted, of 7.71, and one wonders whether he's been working on that technique and whether he'll reap the benefits here. In 27th place overall after the 100 metres, a lot to make up. Oh, he hit that, oh, and that's a big jump. That looked to be just short of 8 metres, and if it is, then it could well be a personal best. Well, Christian Schenk powered his way in, and the man who held together to win the Olympic title in Seoul, in very good form. A good leg shoot, fell back a little, 7.73, and that is a new personal best for Christian Schenk, and he's pulled back some of the deficit. Petri Keskitalo of Finland. The second round of the long jump in the decathlon. He had a no jump in the first round, incidentally, and he knows what the targets are. Accelerated onto that board and really worked at that, and that was a very good jump. Well, it certainly looked to me to be over 7 metres and 50. He charged down the runway. Remember, his 4th overall after the first discipline, had a useful 100 metres, got a good leg shoot at the end of that, and he's got 7.65. He's in second place overall. He's got good points, though. That's more important. The Finn in business. Well, Keskitalo, his personal best 7.82, has started well. The third round of the long jump. Layak of the Soviet Union, 7 metres and 30 in the first round, 7.36 in the second, and he'll need a little bit more than that. He's 26th after the 100 metres, so he hadn't too much there, and that's a little better. It looks about 7.5 metres. He's got an awful long way to pull up after that 100 metres. It was a hang technique, and it's 7.55, and he's pulled himself back with a few more points. So the Soviet athlete doing well. Well, this is Dezo Sabo of Hungary, and had 2 no jumps, and he's in trouble. If he gets a third no jump here, he goes out. He's in 11th place after that 100 metres, and he had to adjust very, very critically as he approached the board, and he's got to jump in. And I'll tell you, it's not a bad jump either. Watch the adjustment. He has to adjust on the penultimate stride and sink in, but he really had to work for that one. A nice little hitch kick, a 1.5 on the end, and he's got 7.51. Look at that, 2 no jumps. He survived and got a good point score with it. Well, next up will be Siggy Vence, and he's already on the runway. 7 metres and 16 in the first round and 7.11 in the second, so he needs a bit more. It's actually more like a sail technique, that. It's neither hang nor a hitch kick. It's a very basic transfer of horizontal speed to lift. It doesn't get too much rotation, and he may well have got himself a few more points there. It's not a particularly good jump, and it has a little bit of forward rotation. But I think it's better. It's a good jump. Having said that, it's a valid jump, and looked to be 7.20 or thereabouts. 7.28, that jump of Siggy Vence, incidentally, as we watch Kellermeyer come down. Oh, and that's a big jump. It's about 7.40. 7 metres and 40 in this third round. And Kellermeyer had a good 100 metres. Nice control, but you can see that the mark's less. And he's just been told, actually, it looks to me as he's just been told, a little smile on his face, it's actually 7 metres and 40, and the computers let us all down. So he doesn't impress on the lead. It's not the best jump. So, Robert Schmelik of Czechoslovakia must have been frightened by that last scoreboard. His third jump. And, oh, and that's a good one. Now, that is close to 7.80. It could be a little further. And Schmelik, a very nice piece of sprinting and good lift off the board, and it's 7.76, and he's first overall. the leader very late on in the competition, but good points from that for Schmelik. Well, let's have a look at the results of that long jump competition and see what the overall effect is after them. There it is, Schmelik, last jump we saw, 7.76, got 1,000 points, good score. The Olympic champion, 7.73, personal best, 9.92, Keskitalo, Müller, Leak and Szabo, the top 6. Pullman there, back in 7th place. They lost a few places on this event. 7.50 though, not bad. Kellermeyer, Kaspergolu, Medved, Varming and Dagourd. There it is, and Simon Pullman, the overall leader, yet again, 1,880 from Schmelik, Kellermeyer, Keskitalo, Müller, Trouble. He's had 2 failures at his opening height at 1.99 m, and this is for survival, and he's nowhere near it. And the Commonwealth champion has gone out of this decathlon. Well, he chose 1.99 as his opening height. You can see that he passed out from 1.84 to 1.96, and he's had a personal disaster. Well, it was a critical jump. He never got anywhere near it. His confidence at low ebb, and you could see that. It was nowhere near an attempt. So Mike Smith goes out of this decathlon in the 4th discipline. Well, disappointing, of course, for this Canadian who did so well in the Commonwealth Games at the beginning of the year to take the gold medal, to follow in the footsteps of the likes of the great Daley Thompson, the greatest of them all. He was in 6th place overall and going well, but now he's out. Consoled there, as you saw in the background, by Simon Pullman. So the son, who is a good jumper, he's got a best of 2.23. That's one of his specialist events. Gets himself 992 points there, came in at 2.08, cleared at 2.14 first time, both at first time, and a very wide berth to come in, and he attacks, doesn't he? Lovely technique over the bar, and that gets him 2.20 m, 992 points. Well, the crowd really getting a feast here, and of course the decathlon with centre stage. Christian Schenk, 2.23 m. He's had a failure, and this is his 2nd attempt. He's a straddle jumper, incidentally. We don't see too many about. He may well be one of the very, very few that we'll see this season. Oh, marvellous technician. And Schenk at 2.23 sets a new stadium record here. Remember, the Olympic champion, that was his event in Seoul. At 2.27 he cleared there. Cleared 2.17, look, on his 3rd attempt. So there was a little hiccup there, and it could have been a little bit of a problem for him. But he survived and came through, and he's got a stadium record. And let's have a close look at this straddle jump. Leans back, throws the free leg, the free arm, rolls around the bar. Oh, it's a lovely technique. I wish we saw more of it these days. Well, he takes the lead overall now from Pullman. That gives you some idea of the state of the wind in this stadium affecting the athletes. And Schenk there in the high jump, 1,021 points. Eriksson 992. And of course Pullman at 2.05 only gets 8.50, and that's the reason why the Olympic champion has now taken over from him. The overall situation, there we are. Schenk now 3.620, not too far ahead though of Simon Pullman, the New Zealander. And Medved of the Soviet Union in 3rd place, Eriksson of Sweden in 4th. That's how they line up at the moment.